Okay, how are we looking at this? But are you guys still having connection trouble? I think it may be my internet. We still having connection problems? Better? Anybody else want to chime in there? It works back. Okay, good now. Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you. We still frozen. Sonia says still frozen. Finally here. Okay, it's good to see you. Thank you. Good here. Thank you, Duncan. Good. Okay. All right, we're going to move forward. Sorry, Sonia. So let's start over. Hey, Harlow, it's good to see you. Okay, so, okay, awesome. Thanks for letting me know that. So my name is Leslie. I have a website, GoToKitchens.com. If you want to go check it out, here is the website in this big giant sign. GoToKitchens.com is the website. Kilroy. And you guys can go check it out there, and you can also get free VIP access, so please take a moment after this broadcast and go check it out. Free VIP access to everyone, anyone, always. Okay, so today we're going to continue our conversation about cooking oils, right? Today we're going to continue our conversation about cooking oils. Yesterday we talked about the different kinds of, well, we talked about what types of oils there are. So not specific types of oils, but what is polyunsaturated? What is saturated fats? What is unsaturated fats? What are trans fats? And so we decoded all of that yesterday. And today I'm going to give you 5 cooking oils that you should be cooking with and 5 cooking oils that you should be completely 100%ly avoiding. So if you're new to me, thank you so much for being here. We have been trending for a couple of days on Periscope, so I know that there may be a lot of new viewers. Thank you so much for being here. We do this broadcast every weekday at noon Mountain Time, and I call the show Lunch with Leslie, and sometimes we're cooking, sometimes we're cooking, and sometimes we're doing health topics. And this week we're doing mostly health topics with a little bit of cooking on Friday. I'm actually going to show you guys how to make a coconut almond fudge on Friday that is so good. It's so good and so easy to make. You're going to thank me for teaching you this recipe. And we're back. That's right. Sorry about the problems. We have no Facebook broadcast. It's not allowing me to do the Facebook broadcast at all. Yeah, so stinking good. Absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit about how cooking oils can change your life. And the reason that or your health, the reason that I use a big title like that is because really cooking oils is something that you use on a regular basis in your kitchen, and it can affect your health quite dramatically. And so I'm probably going to shock you with a couple of things that I'm going to say today about different oils and things that you should and shouldn't be cooking with on both sides of that. Things you shouldn't be cooking with and things that you should be cooking with. So let's start with the oils that we should be avoiding. Number 1 on my list. Somebody asked about it yesterday and I didn't want to give everything away, but number 1 on my list is grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil has been touted as a healthy oil over and over again. We think about it being plant-based. We think about grapes are good for us, so the oil must be good for us. You know, the seed of the oil must be good for us. However, grapeseed oil is incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, there's 2 different types. Actually, there's several different types, but there's 2 main types of fatty acids. One is omega-3s. Perfectly perfect. So there are 2 types of fatty acids, primarily omega-3s and omega-6s. Omega-6s are actually damaging in the body in large amounts, and omega-3s are good in the body in large amounts, or any amount for that matter. So you still need omega-6s, but you don't need a large amount of them, right? Yeah, so grapeseed oil is something that you want to avoid. It is up to 77% omega-6 fatty acids. I would dare to say that it's not healthy in any amount, quite frankly. That is super high, and it's going to take your body a long time to process those omega-6 fatty acids. omega-6 fatty acids are really the true cause of heart disease. So when we think about fats and all the, hubbub around, oh, fats are going to, if you have a high fat diet, you're going to get heart disease, right? But really it's the omega-6 that does the work there and causes heart disease. It also can contribute to autoimmune disorders. So if you are battling an autoimmune disorder, autoimmune disease, I would say stay away from grapeseed oil. Actually, I would tell everybody to stay away from grapeseed oil. It's not something that is necessary, or there are plenty of other oils that you could be cooking with. And if you're making your popcorn in it, you should try using ghee or using coconut oil, which we're going to talk about in just a second. On the VIP page, because a lot of you are probably like, what? I love grapeseed oil. On the Go To Kitchens VIP page, I'm actually going to share out an article. I've read many, popcorn and coconut oil is so good. I've read many articles on grapeseed, but my favorite one that really breaks it down in super layman's terms, I'm going to share out over on the VIP page. So if you're a Go To Kitchens VIP, I will share that link with you later today so that you can read for yourself about grapeseed oil. So when we talk about this type of oil as well, it's extremely high in polyunsaturated fats. Now, some polyunsaturated fats are good and bad, right? So some of them are great for you and some of them are not so great for you. In fact, a lot of them are not so great for you. And they're actually touted as a healthy oil, but typically they have high omega-6, low omega-3s, and your body doesn't really know what to do with all of that. So they can actually be dangerous in the body, and grapeseed oil is the top of the list. It actually has, let me look down here at my notes here. Vegetable oil, which we're going to talk about in just a second, is basically soy oil. It only has 51%. It only has 51% of omega-6s in it. And canola oil, which we're all like running away from nowadays. Canola oil, no! Which we're going to talk about that in just a second, only has 19% of the omega-6 fatty acids. So you can see there's a huge discrepancy. The closest to any of that, compared to grapeseed oil, which is at 77%, is like 56%. And it's crazy. That is a lot of omega-6s. So if you're using it on a daily basis, I would say get rid of it. If you're using it on a moderation basis, I still say when you're done with whatever bottle you have, find an alternative oil that would be better for you. You don't have to throw it away, but you don't have to run with your hair on fire. Oh my God, grapeseed oil is so bad for me. But I would say find an alternative. I would start looking for an alternative if I were you. There we go. All right. So number 2 on the do not eat list, in my opinion, is a canola oil. Dang. I actually have canola oil in my house. This is what we make popcorn in, is canola oil. We make in other oils too, but primarily we prefer the taste of canola oil when we make popcorn. Now, not all canola oils are created equally. Thank you. Yes, B's got it there. So not all canola oils are created equally, but what I'm going to tell you about canola oil, the processing that it has to go through, either organic or not, is probably going to change your mind if you are a super clean eater. All right. So I'm going to tell you, yes, it needs to be cold pressed or slow pressed. Canola is made from rapeseed oil, right? So rapeseed is where we get the oil from. That's where we get, it actually is from China. It went to Canada where they perfected the way that they get the oil out of the rapeseed, and that's where we get the term canola oil from, if you can put 2 and 2 together there, right? So canola oil or rapeseed oil, 87% of that crop in America, or anywhere else for that matter, unless they're banned GMOs, is GMO. So it's genetically modified. So you're getting something that is dangerous from seed, right? And then we start putting it through these processes. And sometimes, just like when we think about fermented foods and processed foods, those GMOs are actually more available, bioavailable in the body, and are doing more harm the more processes that we are getting in our foods. And so here's the process and I'm going to look down and read this so I get it completely straight of what canola oil. I'll hold it up here so I don't have to look so far down. So canola oil is made from the crude oil. So the crude oil, I'm not talking about crude oil like you get out of the ground. I'm talking about the crude, the bare oil of the rapeseed, right? And then it goes through a process, and this is the process. It goes through a superheating. So it gets a really super high temperature. They get it to a super high temperature, which actually causes the oil to go rancid. It causes the oil to go rancid, and then they need chemical carcinogenics, basically, which they use, there you go, which they use bleach and deodorizers to make it unrancid again and make it where you can consume it without it harming you. Really? All that to make it pretty. All that to make it a nice, pretty, clean, not cloudy oil, because that is what our American minds, and now getting into a world mindset even, that's what we want. We want clean, pretty, perfectly yellow canola oil. And so it has to go through, I know, right? It has to go through all, has to go through all of the, you guys are awesome. It has to go through all of those processes, organic or not, to get this beautiful canola oil. Now, somebody actually mentioned expeller pressed, and so this is the exception. So organic, cold pressed, or expeller pressed, or slow pressed canola oil is going to be okay. I still wouldn't use it on a daily basis. It's still hard for the body to digest. It still doesn't know what to do with some of those types of fatty acids that are in there, and the actual molecular makeup of the oil, the body doesn't really know what to do. And I don't have it up here, but I think what I use is called Spectrum, and it is an expeller pressed with the organic as well. So sorry, yes, you will. We're not even close to being done. We're only on oil number 2 of like 10 oils. So you're good. We're going to be here for a while today. But that's what it has to go through. So it's super highly processed, right? We're actually going to talk about palm oil. It's super highly processed, and that's actually in the good list. But there is a reason to avoid it, but I'll tell you why in just a second. It's not what you think. Or in a few minutes, or in like half an hour, we'll get to it. But it is super over processed, and it is something that I would avoid, generally speaking. If you go to the grocery store and you see the brand that starts with a W, with a white label and the green and yellow on it, and it says canola oil, run away. Run away. That is, you are putting known toxins in your body when you use that kind of oil. So run away. Just go away, right? You'll figure it out later. In the middle of the night, Janie, you'll go, oh, that's the oil she was talking about. Starts with a W, has a white label with green and yellow on it, and it's canola oil. You'll know what I'm talking about. You'll get there. All right, number 3 on my list is vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. Now, this is an oil that you should not be eating. There is no such thing as a safe vegetable oil. This is what most fast food and processed foods are using, because they can't use trans fats anymore. So they're just gone to the vegetable oil, right? Yeah, no W, no P. That's right, except olive oil. It's not considered a vegetable oil. We're talking about things that are labeled vegetable oil, right? So things that have, this one starts with the C, very popular brand with the blue and white label. I think there's a little red on it. I haven't looked at it in a long time. They may have changed it by now. Starts with the C, comes in a bottle. It's liquidy, right? That's the most popular type of vegetable oil. There you go. You got it, B. You got it. You guys can type it in. I'm just not going to say it because I don't like to bash other companies publicly like that. I just don't think it's fair. I don't want anybody doing it to me, so I try not to do it to them. But vegetable oil is 99% is soy. So if you look on the back of vegetable oil, there are really no vegetables in there, and we think it sounds so healthy, right? It's vegetable oil. It's good for us because vegetables are good for us. This is Food Marketing 101. Vegetables are good for us, so vegetable oil must be good, right? But if you look on the back of the label, this is my label right here. This is my faux label with the big C on it, right? It is primarily going to be 99% of it is going to be soy. Now then, you guys know how I feel about soy. And I'm going to tell you all the things that I know about soy right now. And this even applies to the oil, and maybe even in spades, it applies to the oil, even through the processing. So soy is super high in phytic acids, which is kind of a anti-nutrient in the body, and it leads to a poor nutrient absorption. So if you're consuming large amounts of soy, you are actually getting poor nutrient absorption. The only time that would change is if you are fermenting the soy. So fermented soy actually breaks the phytic acid down and gets rid and eliminates that anti-nutrient. There's several anti-nutrients actually in soy. The other thing is that soy has has a lot of phytoestrogens in it, and those phytoestrogens actually mimic hormones in your body like estrogen, especially in females, but also in males. It actually mimics estrogen in our body and can cause major havoc in our body. So if you're eating large amount of soy, you should, like raw soy or soybeans or edamame or processed soy. If you're eating a lot of processed foods, you're getting tons of soy. First off, if you're eating a lot of fast food, if you're eating a lot of canned, box, packaged, pouch, jar, bottle, whatever, right? Right, man boobs. You don't want moobs. I understand, David. Don't get the moobs. But if you're eating a whole bunch of processed food and fast food, if you're eating in regular restaurants, like big chain restaurants, they have tons and tons of soy. They just want the food. Their best interest to you is that it tastes good and that you'll get addicted to it and you want to eat it over and over again. They don't give a hoot about what you're putting in your body. They don't give two shakes about what you're putting in your body. So stop eating like that. Stop letting someone else control your health journey. You control your health journey, and if you're eating all those foods, you're getting a ton. Yeah, you're getting a ton of soy, and your estrogen balance in your body is probably off. If you're going through menopause, or you have PMS, or you have if you're a male and you have moobs, if you have an estrogen, my problem with my breast cancer is that my body was making estrogen just fine, but I was not metabolizing it fast enough. It was not leaving my body as fast as it should. And so that was one of the leaders that we took towards, how do we battle that? Because that's out of whack. And how do we battle that? And it was from eating processed foods. Most likely, it wasn't just because all of a sudden my estrogen's out of balance. It's because I was putting in what I was putting in my pie hole, which was pie and processed foods. So you're eating a lot of soy, so that can be damaging, right? Personally, because I am a breast cancer survivor, the only way that I eat soy typically is in soy sauce, and that is a fermented thing, and so it does break down that anti-nutrient, but it still has the phytoestrogens in it, and I use it very limiting. I do not use it a lot, and I use coconut aminos a lot to instead of soy, or Bragg's, what is it called? Liquid aminos. That is amazing. That is amazing. So only fermented soy products. I would just stay away from eating large amounts of soy, GMO or not. So that's the other thing about soy, is that 94% bigger than corn, right? Bigger than corn is actually GMO. 94% is GMO. So it's something that you want to be really careful with. Soy is something that, honestly, it's kind of like if you don't know the source, then don't eat it. because it's probably GMO. That's the other thing that's disrupting that whole circle. So you have anti-nutrients, you have phytoestrogens, and it's GMO. Your body is in havoc when you put it in there. When you put that in there, I know, right? Yeah, so when you put those types of things in your body's going, what in the hey-ho did you just do to me? What are you doing? Don't do that anymore. Stop eating that. If only our bodies could talk back to us. If our guts and our intestines and our liver and our heart and our brain could talk back to us and say, could you please not ever eat that again? We would appreciate it. Thank you very much. That would be so handy. I'd totally be into that. If my organs could talk back to me, except my brain would be whacked. So, yeah. So, yes. All right. It doesn't have anything to do with GMOs. It has to do with pesticides and its resistance to pesticides. I know, right? Oh, so funny. I actually like garlic chili sauce. Yeah, but you need to look at the ingredients and make sure you're getting a good brand. Yeah. Okay, so excuse me, I have one more. I have two more actually. So these are going to go quickly on the bad list. Vegan butters. For the same reason that I don't want you eating vegetable oil, it's the same reason I don't want you eating vegan butters. I have looked at hundreds, it feels like. I don't think there's hundreds. I've looked at a lot of vegan butters because I have a lot of vegans that watch me and a lot of people that are plant-based eaters, and they're trying to get more close to the vegan, eating less and less animal products over a period of time in their lives. I dig that. I totally respect that. I have looked at vegan butters. They are terrible. Vegan butters are awful. Do not eat vegan butters. There's one called Earth Balance that is so bad for you. It is almost 100% soy. They don't care if it's organic or not, by the way. So it's GMO probably. It has tons of soy and tons of corn in it, and it's going to be incredibly inflammatory in the body. You could eat half a cow and probably be better than eating a whole stick of vegan butter. Your body would probably respond better. So stay away from the vegan butters. Stay away, right? And most of them are not organic as well. So they're not using organic soy or organic corn. So vegan butters equals bad. I just said a company's name and I didn't mean to, but I did. I know, it is totally, you're taking a bad habit, well, in the vegan's mind, a bad habit because it's an animal-based product, and turning it into a worse habit. So don't do that. It's like sugar substitutes. Just don't do it, right? Stay away from those vegan butters. And they're so tempting because you're like, oh, well, this must be better for me because it says vegan on it. It says that there's no animal products and it must be better for me. But no, in this case, no. So, yes, it is still mostly soy. It is still mostly soy and mostly corn, which means it's going to be inflammatory in the body. Bottom line, period. Yep, and you're going to have all those anti-nutrients, and you're going to have all of that phytic acid, and so, yeah, that was a no. Yes. Vegan butters, no. All right, number 5, corn oil. Corn oil is not popular anymore. It used to be incredibly popular, but some people, especially in the South, still cook with corn oil. And they try to put it in their gas tanks too to make anyway, whatever. But corn oil is not good for you. It is a huge, super huge GMO crop. About 88% of corn is GMO in this country. If you live in another country, all of this is like completely void, because if you live in Europe, you don't have GMOs anymore. They're totally phasing them out. And so you don't have to worry about these kinds of things, and corn would be perfectly fine. Now, corn is hard to digest in the body, but that typically comes from raw corn or cooked corn, and that doesn't have anything to do with the corn other than you're not chewing it up properly. And you see that in the results. After you eat a cob of corn and you go to the bathroom, my bathroom's in there actually, but you go to the bathroom, typically you can see the results of you not chewing your corn properly. Right? Yeah, you can't get your husband to stop using vegetable oil. We're going to talk about some substitutes. Maybe you can squeeze them in a little bit, right? I know. Yes. So corn oil is no good for you. It's super GMO. Corn is a grain. technically it's a grain. It behaves like a grain in the body. So in the summer, I won't lie to you, we buy corn at the farmer's market. It's amazing here. It's sweet corn, it's organic, and it tastes amazing, and I know it's sourced. I can go to the cornfield if I were so inclined and pick it myself, and I know what kind of practices they have, and we do eat fresh corn on the cob here in this house, and I have lots of recipes where we use fresh corn as well, and we use lots of butter, which we're going to talk about in just a second.
I love butter.
So yeah, that man eats a ton of butter, and look how thin he is. Butter does not make you fat. We're going to talk about that. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. So corn oil, get it out. If you're using it, don't use it anymore. It's no good for you. There's hardly any organic corn oil because the market is low for it. There's not a lot of demand. And if you can find organic corn oil, there's so many better alternatives. So just stay away from it, right? All right. So let's talk about the 5. We've been Debbie Downer now. Sorry if your name's Debbie. I do not mean anything bad about that. It's just a saying I've been saying since I was a kid. And I got to quit saying it, apparently. So he was a little sensitive about it. So there comes my husband again. He's always in my way. Have you ever noticed that? He just looked at me like, what? Are you kidding me? No. Willie and Debbie, I know. Totally, Willie and Debbie get a lot of play here on my broadcast. Okay, so so let's talk about the 5 oils that you should be cooking with. Now, this is my favorite part because I'm going to shock some of you right now, right? Right? I know. Corn and soy, like triple bad. I mean, because then you get all the GMOs and you get all of the phytoestrogens and all of the oh crap, I have to look at my notes again because I always say, no, phytoestrogens, I said it right. And phytic acid and all that. And yeah, so just, scary butter. That's what it should be called, scary butter. Yes. It's because they can grow it quickly. Corn grows quickly. It's reliable, and it feeds a lot of people. So yes, corn is not just used for eating. We use corn for everything nowadays. Yeah, scary butter. All right, let's talk about butter. I want to talk about butter right now. My number 1 cooking oil, and you're going to see a lot more of this in the Go-To Kitchens as I discover more about it, as I learn more about this particular kind of butter. I am super excited about it. And so I learned some stuff about it researching this particular Periscope. And for this show today, I learned some more about it, and I'm even more on fire about it right now. And the number 1 thing we're going to talk about is ghee. Thank you, Harlow. Harlow's got it there. Is ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. So basically what they do is they take butter, they make butter just like you would normally make butter, and then they remove all the milk solids out of it. Now, the only downside to me is that it has a process, right? This is one of the things that I've always kind of been on the fence about ghee because it has to go through a process. So it goes through the whole butter making process, and then it has to go through a second extraction process to remove remove the milk solids out of there, right? Yeah, ghee is a little bit hard to find. I totally agree with you, Kim. It is a little bit hard to find. So, yeah, you can do it at home as well. You can absolutely do it at home as well and make your own ghee. But if you're not into that and you want to buy ghee, it is an amazing. And the more I learn about it, the more I'm like on fire about it. So you're probably going to see more of it in the Go-To Kitchens. Now, there's a couple of things about it that I want to talk about. There's some parameters always, right? There's always parameters that we need to follow. Yeah, it is super easy to make. But a lot of people are like, I don't want to make it. I'm scared to make it. So we'll have a session at some point where I teach you how to make ghee. But for this, let's just talk about just ghee in general. And you can buy it in the store or make it yourself, right? All right. Yes. All right. Hold on just a second. We may be getting into a silence. I know, those darn parameters. You guys hang with me just a second. I think we're good, but Jay, I'm so sorry you couldn't get into the broadcast last night. I probably need to do a better job of explaining how to get into the broadcast. I'm not good at telling people that this is, this is how you do this, and I'm trying to get better at that since I'm a one-man show. Well, no, it's not your fault. It was both of our faults. How about that? We're equally at fault, so yes. Okay, so... Okay, all right, good. I think we're good. All right, so let's talk about ghee, and we're just going to talk about it, not making it, but talking about it from a cooking oil perspective. So here are the parameters. It needs to be grass-fed. It needs to be, the best that you could get would be raw, organic, grass-fed ghee. Now that's a lot of parameters, right? Yeah, I think we all got them, good. But that's a lot of parameters. Raw, organic, grass-fed, or pastured ghee would be the best that you can get. Now you can get butters like that and make your own ghee easily, but it is hard to find it in the store with all three of those parameters in there because it gets kind of pricey, right? People don't buy it because it gets pricey. So, excuse me. So those would be the parameters that I want you to think about and work within. The great thing about ghee that I'm learning is that it has an incredibly high smoke point. We'll talk more about this later on this week, but it has an incredibly high smoke point. So if you are frying, if you're doing any types of frying or anything, ghee is going to be great for that. The smoke point for it is actually 485 degrees. What? You can almost broil with ghee and still not have the smoke. It's super, super high. So as I start thinking about how I want to make like sauteed vegetables, or maybe even doing, like meat in the ghee, and I like all of these recipes are flying through my head now of things that I want to do with ghee. I've used it off and on for a couple of years, but never like as a cooking oil on a regular basis. And now I'm like totally in love. Here's some things to make you fall in love with it. Number one, it is high in fat soluble vitamins. So you're going to get A, D, and K12, which were all fat soluble vitamins, and are, yes, I said D, which are hard to get in foods. Now you don't get a lot of D. You're not going to get enough D to satisfy your D requirements, but you do get it in the foods, which is amazing. It's only found, these types of fatty acids that are in ghee are only found in grass-fed animals. So you're probably not going to go into a regular chain grocery store and see ghee anywhere. You're going to have to go to Whole Foods or Natural Grocers, or I don't know if Trader Joe's has it or not, but you're going to have to go to a specialty place to find it. You're going to have to go to a health food type store to get the ghee if you're not going to make your own. But yes, and it's super high. It has a special acid in it, and I have to look down. So it's called, I really am going to screw this up. You guys just be prepared right now. Here's a total screw up because it's a long, weird word. So here we go. Conjugated linoleic, not, there's no TH in there, linoleic acid. It's CLA, basically. I know it as CLA, and it's hard for me to say it all out like that and phonically get it out to you guys, but you'll see it's in CLA. It is only found in grass-fed animals, and there is some new research coming out. It's I know, right? It is super brand new research that says foods that are high in CLA actually are believed to help protect you from cancer. We're not talking about just like breast and colon. We're talking about tumor cancers in the brain, in the gut, in the liver, in the lungs, and breast cancer, and rectal cancer, and prostate cancer. It is like a blanket over a protection of cancer in the body, which I think is amazing. And it's basically because of its incredible anti-inflammatory properties in the human body. And it's also been said that the CLAs are really, really good for type 2 diabetes. So I just think that is... He could afford to be hot. He had a high smoke point. Arlo, you're so funny. So the other great thing is that if you are dairy sensitive, so if you're like, butter is out, because I do not do dairy, right? It's funny because I never think of butter as dairy, but it's totally a dairy, but I don't think of it like that. If you are smoking hot, if you are dairy sensitive, typically you're dairy sensitive because of the casein and the lactose, right, in the dairy. When you clarify butter, you actually remove like huge portions, like up to 99% of the casein and the lactose. So yes, this is for the ghee, right? This is for ghee. When you clarify butter, you're actually removing the casein and the lactose. So if you're dairy intolerant or you don't eat dairy, this is something that you could consider, unless you're vegan, which you don't eat dairy under any circumstances whatsoever. But it is a great thing, and I have to tell you, it is great on muffins. This is how I usually eat it. I eat it like I eat butter, like on toast, or I love ghee. If you've ever had my grain-free scones, they're on my website, grain-free scones. They're amazing. My friend Annette taught me how to make them. They're so good. I love ghee spread all over those grain-free scones, like, you know, heap it up. I have to be honest, I haven't cooked with it a whole lot, and I'm super excited about getting down and figuring out how to cook with it. I know, right? Grain-free with the CLAs and the good, you know, almonds and your body's like, holla, I don't even care that there's chocolate in these scones because this stuff is good. That's my body talking back to me again. Anyway. Harlan, we're gonna have to find you a man named Guy. I know, right? That's awesome, right? Ghee week coming. That's so funny. Holla, right? Yes. All right. So ghee, number one. Number two, guess what number two is? Anybody want to guess what number two is? What's number two of the oils that you should be eating? Anyone? Anyone? Coconut oil. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, you guys are awesome. Olive oil is right after that, actually. Coconut oil. Coconut oil has an amazing flavor. I just said to somebody today that coconut oil is that one of those foods that tastes great and is good for you. Right? It's one of those foods that is like, this really tastes amazing and my body likes it, right? Okay, so coconut oil gets a bad rap from the health community because why? Anybody know why it gets a bad rap? And it has something to do with it being a solid oil. I know, it is good for everything, right? It has something to do. Yes, it is a saturated fat. Good girl. It is a saturated fat. And so it gets, from the medical community and from traditionalists in the health world, it gets a bad rap because it is a saturated fat. However, it is not created equal. And so we're all learning as we go through our health journeys, we're all learning that saturated fats like ghee are really good for us. They're actually amazing in the body. In fact, half of the things I'm going to talk about today are saturated fats, and they're actually good for the body. They can actually help prevent heart disease and elevated cholesterol. And I mean, it can actually protect your body from that. So too little of this kind of fat is actually dangerous. So coconut oil gets a bad rap for that because it is a good saturated fat. One of the reasons is that most fats are long chain fatty acids. Now, I did not go into the science of this yesterday. We're going to dip our toes into the science of it today. Coconut oil is actually a medium chain fatty acid. So if you think about it in terms of, you know, like long and medium and small, right? Coconut is a medium chain fatty acid, and it's actually hard to find that type of fatty acid, and it's available in a couple things. Olive oil actually has it as well. It has short and long. But what happens in the body is when you consume this, you consume a medium chain fatty acid, right? When you consume that, it goes right from your digestive system. It does not pass go. It does not collect $200, and it goes right to your liver. And your liver metabolizes it very quickly, and it gives your body an energy source. So it is a source of fat energy that happens very quickly in the body. So other oils, it takes, they take detours livers throughout the body. They go different places and do different things, and they go through your, through your intestines and, whatever. But this goes right to your liver and is metabolized through the liver, and your liver loves it. Now, this gets all those nutrients back out to the body, and it really affects your noggin, not your hair, but your brain, the thing that's inside your skull that doesn't talk to you very often. It gets right into your brain. Again, there are some studies coming out, nothing solid, nothing where they're like pointing at it, and I doubt that they ever will, because the medical community doesn't love this kind of research. But there are needles pointing towards the fact that these medium chain fatty acids are actually great for people who have dementia and Alzheimer's. If you have memory fade, yes. If you have memory fade, if you have brain fog, if you have anything like that, these medium chain fatty acids found in coconut oil are actually really, really good for you. Now, here's the kicker. Coconut oil has a pretty high smoke point, but you cannot superheat it. You will kill what is good for you. So with coconut oil, not necessarily low and slow, but like medium and slow, right? Or raw. Yeah, you have that, David. Yeah, so these medium chain fatty acids are really, really good for that. And so are omega-3s. If you're not getting enough omega-3s, either supplement, which I don't say very often. I don't say the S word very often, but either supplementing with omega-3s or making sure that you're getting fish a couple of times that are high in omega-3s a couple times a week. That can really help with that. You can ask my husband. He just said it this weekend, and it was hilarious, and I love it when he does this. So, right? Yeah, absolutely. You can use it in your popcorn. You can use it as butter. A lot of people use it as butter. You can eat it raw. You could just take a tablespoon, which is kind of gross, of coconut oil and put it in your mouth. And let me say one more thing about it. It actually is antibacterial in the body, and it will actually help eradicate yeast. So if you have candida, if you have a overgrowth of yeast in the body, coconut oil is actually really, really good for that, because it actually works through the gut, in the liver, to help get rid of yeast in the body. So but it is really great for the brain, and that's mostly from the ketones that are in coconut oil. So this weekend, talking about omega-3s, which is a food source, you're going to get that in a food source, not necessarily, some in oil, but not large amounts in oil. And you cook with them, and you typically break the omega-3s down, and they don't do what they're supposed to do. So a raw source of omega-3s, like in a fish or in a supplement, is really great. Yeah, oil pulling, coconut oil is amazing for all kinds of things. We're just talking about cooking today, but yes, oil pulling in your hair, on your skin. It actually can help protect you from the sun a little bit. Coconut oil is amazing. Okay. We were talking to some friends this week, and Robin says we were talking about brain fog, and one of our friends was talking about the fact that she's just having a little bit of brain fog and blah blah blah. Anyway, and Robin's like, oh well, I totally had that, and Leslie took me off of the crappy omega-3 supplements that I'm on, and put me on a really super high quality, they're expensive as all get out, super high quality omega-3, and my brain fog is totally gone. I don't have it. My memory he's 63, by the way. My memory is getting better. It's getting better. And I'm like, okay. It's because it was really awesome. I was like, there we go. He's been taking them for about a year now, and he notices a difference in his memory, and that's hard, because a lot of us only notice a difference when we are like, where did I put my car keys? Oh, I forgot to lock my car, or I forgot to put down my garage door, whatever. We think about these little slips and memories, and a memory thought process. And so, but the omega-3s and the medium chain fatty acids are amazing for that. So if you're experiencing brain fog, go for the coconut oil. You can put it in your smoothies too. And by the way, it should be cold press. If you are going to heat it to a super high heat, it should be refined. So if you're going to use it to fry, you should put it You should buy it refined. If you're going to use it, and we'll talk more about this later this week, if you're going to use it in a raw or in a low cooking temperature environment, then you need to buy the cold press. If you're going to use it to just consume it, you can actually put it in caplets. You can actually fill caplets with coconut oil. If you can't stand like those little veggie caplets, if you can't stand to just take it, you can fill it and take it that way as well. That's absolutely fine. Put it in your coffee. A lot of people are putting it in their coffee nowadays, and that's a great way to consume it. Put it in your smoothies, although it's going to get your Vitamix all weird, but anyway, or your blender all weird. Number 3, oh my gosh, we've been here like 48 minutes and I'm only on number 3 of these, and I got 3 anyway. So number 3, so I don't know what that means, but we're just gonna have to go with it. I've only seen like 3 episodes of Friends, so I don't know what that means. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. You can freeze it. I have a recipe on my blog. I think Sherry's not here with us today, but Sherry's favorite recipe. It is peppermint patties. They're peppermint patties made with the insides of them are just coconut oil, and you freeze them, and they make amazing candies with the dark chocolate. So you're getting a double bump of like yumminess. And I'm working on actually the coconut oil right now candy for the Almond Joy that we talked about yesterday. Yeah, those are, so if you go to my website, go2kitchens.com, type in peppermint patty and you'll find it. Yeah, they're super, super good. They are so good. They're a great little treat. They're, especially this time of year when it's hot out. You can't leave them out, by the way. You have to keep them cold. Don't leave them out at room temperature. They'll melt. But when it's cold out and you get one out of the fridge or out of the freezer, and they just have this really cool, refreshing taste to them. So, but you can't go overboard. You still can't go overboard. Moderation. Number 3, olive oil. The benefits of olive oil are primarily that it is an antioxidant. Olive oil has a lot of antioxidants. If you think about olives, right? Think about olives and eating olives. They have tons of antioxidants in them. Thank you, Jesus, for that, because I love olives. Sorry, I just cracked myself up. Sorry. I do. I love olives. They have tons of they have tons of antioxidants in them. They are incredibly anti-inflammatory. So olive oil is the same in an oil based product that has super high, sorry, I'm still laughing. It has super high anti-inflammatory properties along with those antioxidants, which are actually the anti-inflammatories as well. The thing with olive oil that I want you to mind is, and I have some olive oil just here for you. I want you to mind the quality. So this is actually 25 ounces of olive oil. This, in my store here, this cost about $10. This is about the cheapest olive oil that I would buy. The other thing that you want to look for is that it has not gone rancid. If it has gone rancid, this will be cloudy. If it has gotten to a point where it has gotten too hot, like in shipping or something like that, I'll show you in just a second. If it's gotten too hot in shipping or something like that, this will actually get cloudy, and it's time for some new olive oil, right? And the one that doesn't start with P. That's right, it's because it's over processed. So the P brand is out. So this is the brand that I use. You can get this at, I think they've actually started selling it at Costco, but I get mine either at Whole Foods or Natural Grocers or Sprouts. They have this brand, and it's one of my favorites. I really like the flavor of it. It's got all kinds of like it's all got all kinds of certification, so it's okay. You can watch replay. Yes, it'll get, when it gets too cold as well, it will do that, but it will actually solidify and go back to clear if it gets too cold. But too hot, it will get cloudy and get little lumpy dumpies in it, and that is something that you should change at that point. And do not buy olive oil like that. In fact, you should tell the store manager that that's happened. I just ran across this with this brand. They had it on sale. They had buy one, get one free the other day, and all the ones that were left were totally cloudy. I was going to buy like 6 of them. And I started looking at them and I was like, dang, these are all cloudy. And I told the manager and he's like, oh man, and it's during our sale. So he gave me a rain check and said I could come back and get it when it's not cloudy. But yes, it should be like that. This is my favorite brand that I use, but there are several organic brands. Here's the thing. If you can get, and I said this yesterday, if you can get half a gallon of stinking olive oil, right? And it's like, like $6 at Sam's or Costco, and it starts with the letter P, the brand starts with the letter P, that is not good choice. Here's what they do with that type of oil. I'm going to tell you right, I'm going to out them right now. I'm outing them. They are not on the down low anymore. I'm going to out them right now. There has been a recent story, like in the last couple of years, they are actually cutting their olive oil with vegetable oil. And even though they've been outed, they're still doing it. They didn't stop. They didn't go like, oh, our bad, and make a change, right? Good for you. They were like, oh yeah, we're doing that, but people are still buying it. So what, who cares? Yes, it is. Just make sure you chew it up. Chew your food, Miss Harlow. Chew your food. Someone typed out the B word. I don't know about Trader Joe's quality. I really don't. I don't shop at Trader Joe's, but they're not going to have this brand probably. They're going to have their own brand. So yes. Anybody want to type out the P word for Janie? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. It's a region. It's a city in Italy. Right? I know. Please. That's a P word. So, does anybody know what I'm saying, what I'm talking about? If not, I'll just say it. Do you want me to just say it? No. Yeah, I like that brand as well. Purple. No, it's Pompeii. Pompeii is an oil that you should not be buying. There. Yes. It's funny because I remember, I have to tell you a story. Oh my gosh, I have a story. Story break, story time. I have to tell a story. I should have like a little thing that comes up. Yeah, there you go. Pompeii, and I don't even know exactly what it is. I knew it was anyway, it's from Pompeii, but it's not really. So, story time. This is story time. I'm going to tell you a story right now. This is my little story box. So when I went to church on a regular basis and do not attend church on a regular basis, I'm always super crystal clear about that, although that I am a believer. I do not attend church. There's a lot of reasons behind that doesn't even matter. My personal story doesn't even matter. It's not even relative to this story. But when I was going to church all the time when I was a little girl, I went to a non-denominational church, and they believed in when you are asking, when you're praying for something, that you lay your hands on somebody, right? That you actually, like, everybody would gather around you, oh, I need to pass my driver's exam. And everybody would gather around you, and they would, we'd all pray and touch one another, which I think is right. Carlo, I won't cry here. This is kind of a funny story. So that they would all, come around and lay hands on one another, and that's how we would pray. And I actually love the power of that. I love the power and the emotion of being touched by my peers, and knowing that was a very loving, safe, balance in my life of, when I needed somebody to pray for me. So I just thought it was always wonderful. But I always remember the other thing that they did is they would anoint people with oil, right? So they would take the olive oil, the purest of olive oil, whatever. And some churches that we went to had these really beautiful little, pictures of, vials or whatever you want to call it, of little, what am I trying to say? Like a little thing of olive oil, like a little pourry thing, a ewer. Thank you. A ewer of olive oil. And so, but the last church that we attended on a regular basis, they just had that Pompeian olive oil sitting out in that bottle. And I will never forget, and I always thought it was like a big deal, like it had come from wherever. I never, I was pretty young, and I thought it was like imported from Israel or something. I had no idea where olive oil came from. I was a kid. And so, but I remember being in the grocery store, right? So I remember being in the grocery store as I got a little bit older, probably in my 20s. This was when I was much younger, like 10, 12, 13 years old. But in my 20s, and I was in the grocery store, and I was like, that's that's what they use? They just come to the grocery store and buy this olive oil? And I just remember not even feeling insulted, but just having a laugh about it. I was like, really? I thought we were using something special. I thought we were using some, special type. It's like when I was a teenager and we went back to do the, oh crud. When you do the wine and the bread, what is that called? Anyway, so yeah, only olive oil. It was so funny. I just thought it was so funny. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. It wasn't as funny as it was in my mind until I told it, and then it wasn't so funny. Communion, thank you. Communion, when I found out that they used Welch's grape juice, I was like, really? That's what we use? Anyway, I just was like, what? I thought, what in the world? Anyway. And then as I got older, I realized that it was the symbolism. It wasn't necessarily what we were partaking in, but it was the symbolism that we were partaking in. Anyway, just funny. Yes. Okay, that's my story. David, I don't think they were. I don't think they knew any better either, but those are just funny things about my childhood that I remember. I know. It's so funny. And it was. We went to a kind of a country church. So yeah, Kool-Aid, exactly. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. All right. Okay, so I'm done. All right, so olive oil, yes, do not use cheap because it's cut with vegetable oil, which is what? Soy, which is what? Bad. So make sure that you're buying quality and that you're buying 100%. And I would say organic, and I would say grown sustainably. I know that's a tough one, another pill to swallow, but grown sustainably is also kind of important. So you can look at the harvest date, absolutely. You can buy $100 bottles of olive oil. That gets a little steep when you're cooking with it every day. If you've got that kind of budget, awesome for you, right? You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so let's move on. Number 4 is avocado oil. So avocado oil has a super high smoke point. This is why it made the list. The only reason avocado oil made the list, and I know some of you are like, what? There's only one reason? So, oh, thank you, Sarah. So number one reason that it made the list is that it is great for frying and sauteing. It's good for skillet frying. It is a little high in omega-6 fatty acids. It's actually something that I don't even have an example to show you. I had a little bottle, but Robin doesn't really prefer the taste of it, so we kind of like skipped out on using it a lot. But it is actually overconsumption of it, a daily use of it could cause an elevation in omega-6s in the body, which leads to heart disease and high cholesterol and clogged arteries and all of those kinds of things. So I would just be a little careful in what I'm going to use it for. And inflammation, absolutely. But it is a great frying oil. So if you're going to fry up some chicken on that thing back there, the stove. I can't find my words today. I have too many distractions. I'm sorry. But if you're going to be frying up some chicken or something like that, it is actually amazing. It is amazing for frying like that. You can use it cold in salad dressings. That would be fine as well. Actually, I would rather use olive oil and cold for dressings. It's actually better for you. It has a lot of properties that avocado oil doesn't have. And honestly, if you want the healthy fats from an avocado, just eat an avocado. Bottom line, if you're really looking for the healthy fats in an avocado, eat an avocado. It's going to be the best. It's going to be the best for you in the fat category because the fiber of the avocado with the fats is actually what makes that so healthy for you. So yes, avocado oil does make the list, and that's it, right? I eat those too, good. It does make the list. It is not a super healthy oil. It's why it's down to number 4. It is not the best choice, but I would choose ghee, coconut, or olive oil over avocado oil any single day. And 3 oils in your kitchen to cook with are probably plenty. But avocado oil is not something that I would use on a daily basis. Because of the high omega-6s. It just has a hard time for your body to process it. So Yeah, you can just eat olives as well. But as far as the olive oil is concerned, it's a really great cooking oil, and it's great for salad dressings. It's great for cold. It's kind of a preferred taste as well. And the other thing about it is that it is readily available. You could go to just about any grocery store and find a really high quality, probably up to like $30, $40 bottle of olive oil. So yeah. So it's more about the availability when we talk about the balance, right? Yeah, olive oil mayo is super, super yummy. Yes, not all olive oils are created equal. Nope. All right, number 5 on the list is butter, not margarine. Not margarine. Butter is number 5 on the list. Margarine is not anything that should ever be in your house. Margarine should leave the house. If you have margarine in your house right now, don't leave right now, but right after this broadcast, go to your refrigerator or go to where it's at and throw it away. It is a trans fat that will kill you. Bottom line, butter. Real butter. I know. Real butter, not margarine. A grass-fed or pasture source is best. This is my favorite brand of butter. This is Kerrygold. If you look for it, yeah, that doesn't count either. Oh my gosh, yeah, margarine is so bad. So, yeah, margarine is terrible, terrible, terrible for you. This is Kerrygold. Good. This is Kerrygold. Yeah, Kerrygold is amazing for you. It is a nice high quality. If you're looking for Kerrygold in your grocery store, you probably are going to have to go look in the deli section. So go look in the deli area where they sell the high-end cheeses and the high-end whatevers over there, like the little pancettas and all that sort of stuff. They are going to have Kerrygold over there, right? Yeah, Kerrygold and Walmart nowadays, which scares me a little bit. They're going to lose their quality, like somebody's gonna buy them or something. But yes, so it's made in Ireland. Cows grazed on green pastures, small family farms. Milk is churned to make a Kerrygold butter. So yes, not a lot of ingredients, very few ingredients. Pasteurized cream and salt, contains milk. Product of Ireland.
As a butter expert, this is the stuff.
I know, right? You want to do a Vanna for me?
It's a testimonial from a customer.
Right? Yeah. So how long has it been since you changed?
How long has it been?
It's been probably 8 or 9 months, right?
It's been close to a year.
Yeah, we went from just a regular organic butter. We were actually in Tucson with your brother. Weren't we?
I can't remember where.
We were in Tucson, and they didn't have our organic butter.
We were forced to buy this.
And I said, let's try. Everybody says Kerrygold is amazing. Let's try Kerrygold. He is my guest star. There's another one right here. Oh, you can't see him now. It is seriously the best. So that's right. Put the Kraft Parmesan and the margarine in the same place, the trash. So yes, but we were on vacation somewhere. I can't remember where it was, and it may have been Hawaii, and we were forced to buy this. And I was like, let's just try it, because he's a big butter snob. He's a total butter snob, and so we bought this, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is like the best butter I've ever had. I'm like, I know, it's so good. It was so good. And we were like, how do we get it? We hope we can get it at home. We were kind of freaking out. Should we buy some and put it in ice and send it home or something? So I'm gonna have to import our Kerrygold butter. But Kerrygold is a great brand. Another great brand, the brand that we were using before this which was excellent quality. We went from Land O'Lakes. No joke. We went from Land O'Lakes to this next brand. I have to look down here. Hold on. Organic Valley, which is the same cheese I used last night in my cook. Yes. Organic Valley is also a really great brand. Yeah, we went from Organic Valley to this Kerrygold, and it's really good. And it comes in salted and unsalted. You can get it both ways. We like salted. So yes. Here's the great thing about butter. You ready? This is so awesome. This is like the best thing about butter. It has short and medium chain fatty acids for the body. So when you eat butter, you get an instant power source in your liver. It actually feeds your brains. If you are your brain or your brains, depends on who you talk to. Brains, you say brain, I say brains.
You can see how smart I am.
He just can't. Now he's been on camera and he's like, I'm coming back.
Salt and butter.
Yes. So, right? You can put in your coffee, absolutely. It's really, really good for your thought process, for your memory, for maintaining that throughout your age. So, you know, having that really sharp memory and sharp wit, and, you know, being able to think through problems really well.
What was that butter again?
Organic Valley. Kerrygold? What?
That's humor.
Oh, he was using humor.
Good
Sorry.
memory.
Oh. So, sorry, missed it. And then it helps reduce inflammation in the body. Butter is actually great at reducing inflammation in the body. Now, the medical community will tell you that it increases inflammation and will cause your heart to explode. I am telling you that there is tons and tons of very solid research that says that that's a bunch of hooey, and that is actually great for the heart. It is great for the liver. It is great for, I know, right? I know, he's on there too. So, but it is great for the body. And if you suffer with arthritis, if you have RA, or you just have general arthritis, psoriatic, any type of arthritis like that, it is actually really great for arthritis as well. Because it helps fight inflammation. I have a friend who swears that if she gets a headache, that she can have a cup of coffee with honey in it and like 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter. It makes like this golden kind of amazing coffee, and that her headache will be gone in like 10-15 minutes. Because of the caffeine and the anti-inflammatory properties of the butter. And then the honey is actually also an anti-inflammatory in the body, because even though it's a sugar, it actually has anti-inflammatory properties, and she swears that she can get rid of a headache that way. I just have to take her word for it. But yes, she drinks full caffeinated with it in there. Yeah. Yes. All right. So there we go. So there's our 5 oils we should be cooking with: ghee, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil in moderation, and butter. Somebody asked about palm oil. So if I have to add a 6th oil that's healthy for you, palm oil is going to be in there. Palm oil is actually really good for you. Yeah, I don't know about Amish butter. Depends on the source. Thank you, Harlow. Yeah, so, but not all the time. It can be, but not all the time. It could be from inflammation in the body as well. So, yeah, migraines are typically triggered from inflammation. So, okay, so palm oil. Here's the controversy. Thank you. Yeah, so palm oil, the controversy surrounds sustainability. This is why I don't use palm oil. I know I'm kind of a little bit of a sustainability kind of person. I'm not like overboard, but I do care about our environment. I do care about our planet. I do care about what we're doing to it. I'm one of those really, you know, crunchy people that have like tree huggers and all that. I love animals. I love nature. I love our planet. This is our home. This is where we live. We need to take care of it, right? Hippie. Thank you, Sarah. Wasn't going to say it, but you did. That's okay. I'm the H word. No, I'm totally crunchy, a little bit hippie. I totally agree with that. So even though it is healthy, it's not really responsible. And the reason is because they are stripping rainforest in Africa and other in rainforesty areas. So Africa, South America, they are actually stripping rainforests to get palm oil and to sell it cheap. So, yeah, so it's not bad for you. It's actually good for you. It has a lot of good properties, but I just don't believe that it's good for our planet. So even though it's good for you, until they find a way to make it, and then at that point they're going to hybridize it so that it can grow faster and that they can get it easier, until they find a way to do that, I just can't support it. I'm sorry. I just can't support it, but it is good for you. Yes. Nut oils are fine as long as most people don't prefer the taste of them. Actually, culinary speaking, they have really strong flavors, so they can overpower a dish very easily. So most people find that they don't cook with them with nut oils, but they're fine. But you just want to make sure that they're cold pressed and that they've not gone through a lot of processing. A lot of times with nuts, they go through that whole stripping process that we talked about when we talked about canola oil, and so you just want to be a little careful about that. So yes, and I don't think I'm speaking out of term there. I think I'm right about that. So you could prove me wrong though. I could be proven wrong there. So, but with nut oils, it's typically, I didn't put it in any of these because I don't, it's not something that people typically cook with. It's not one of those top oils that we think about cooking with. So yeah, and they're typically really expensive. Yeah, so like a little bitty tiny thing of walnut oil is going to be like 18 bucks. And so most of us are like, no, never mind, I'll use olive oil, right? What can you bake with? I love to bake with coconut oil. It's my favorite. It makes everything super chewy, and we're doing a lot of gluten-free baking. We lose a lot of that chink. Yeah, they go rancid quickly. We lose a lot of that fluff and everything, and coconut oil adds a little bit of that in there, because when it's whipped up, when coconut is whipped in oil or in milk or anything like that, it takes on air really well and can help put the fluff back into gluten-free baking or into grain-free baking. So yes, it makes great frosting. Absolutely. Yeah. So long scope. I knew it would be. I knew this would be a long show today, but I wanted to make sure that that I got it out for you guys. You might try the ghee in bread. The ghee or the coconut oil. Coconut oil is going to have a flavor though, right? So it's maybe not something that you want to use. If you want to use something completely neutral, then you would go with like an animal lard. Animal lard is not horrible for you. I will tell you, you need to just buy a super high quality of lard and not use it a lot, right? Yeah, it's great for that kind of thing, like pancakes. You'll see me use it a lot in pancakes. I use it a lot in baked goods, just in general. If I don't use that, I'll use an avocado. Avocado is really neutral, not avocado oil like an avocado, or butter, or ghee. I will use that, and those have just the butter actually enhances baked goods. So yes. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about calories. If you're eating real food, you do not need to worry about calories. It's a myth. There he is again. It's
a couple calories one way or the other.
Yeah, if you're eating real food, you do not need to worry about counting calories. I actually have a whole day dedicated to that in the 27-day real food challenge. That I'm still writing, because it's 27 days I have to write, and so, but I'm writing that. I have a whole day dedicated to that whole calorie thing. So refined coconut oil is good for high temperature cooking. I mean, the less processed the better, honestly, but you could. Yes, it's okay, Harlow, you're getting there. The fact is, Harlow, is that you want to learn. You're here. I know he's washing his hands. You're here and you want to learn. So that is a step in the right direction any way you cut it. Someone's in the kitchen with Leslie. Yep, there's the puppy. Edison.
We're all here together.
Edison, come here. Come, turn around, buddy. We can only see your tail.
Over here.
Oh, Daddy, easy. There he is. That scared him. What are you doing? Are you a good boy? Are you on TV? You're on TV? Yeah.
Are you famous, Edison?
It's just we all work in the house. So. Even Edison. Yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yeah. So we all work in the house. Our little house has 2 businesses and our household in it. Actually, really 3 businesses in our household. So it's out in the yard. I know. He's such a good boy. He's just going to stand here. He's a good dog. He's a good boy. At least he's not barking. All right, you guys. Are we done? Are we good? We crystal clear? Everybody crystal clear? You know all about oils now. So tomorrow we're going to talk about, we're going to really dive into the controversy, and tomorrow will be a great day to watch with somebody or share this broadcast with somebody that thinks that butter is bad for you, or thinks that saturated fats are bad for you, or leads to heart disease or anything like that. Tomorrow's broadcast, you're going to want to bring those people with you. And here's the reason, because we're going to really dive into the myth that saturated fats are bad for you. Yeah, good. So, yes, olive oil is good. Yeah, you're doing fine, just not in super high temperatures. So super high temperatures, under 400 degrees, actually under 375 to be on the safe side with olive oil. The day after that, we're going to talk about the different types of good oils, what their smoke points are, what we use them for, how we use them, what's the best way, what's the best oil for certain jobs, in your kitchen. We're going to talk about that. What are the top 3 oils that you should have on hand all the time. That's on Thursday, and then on Friday we are making candy from oil. So we're actually going to use almond butter, coconut butter, and coconut oil, and we're going to make a candy, and it is a coconut almond fudge. So we're doing that on Friday. I'm super excited about it. So Thursday's broadcast, I'm going to probably be a little bit late. I'll just tell you, it's possible that I could be at least up to an hour late. And then, I know, right? So, and the reason for that is, yeah, fudge, healthy fudge. Jamie's like, candy, is because on Thursday I'm actually going to see the Dalai Lama speak in Boulder, and so we have had tickets for like a couple months now, and I'm super fired up about seeing the Dalai Lama. It's nothing to do with religion, so let's just be crystal clear there. This has nothing to do with religion for me. This has everything to do with, he is one of the biggest peacemakers living on our planet today. He just exudes peace, and I am all about world peace. It is my goal to help people heal themselves, be satisfied with their bodies, and I really think that when people have that confidence back, when they have the confidence that their body's going to do what they ask them to do when they ask it to do it, and they feel good about themselves, I think that that is all going to transcend into being at peace with one another as well. So I know it's crazy that I think that huge big picture like that, but that's what I think about. So I think that the Dalai Lama is one of our peace leaders in this planet, and I'm so excited to see him. So yes. All right. See you, Janie. Thanks for being here today and last night and everything that you do for me. I appreciate you. If you guys don't know, when you see Sam and Janet on here, she actually, I'll just go out and say it. She works for me for free. I'm a one-man show, except I have a few people that are ambassadors for me. And if you're in my Kitchenatomy 10-step kitchen detox class, she is actually my ambassador over there. And she helps me keep up with your comments and helps me figure out what's going wrong and how to fix things and how to get things out to you. Thank you so much for being here, Big Kid. I appreciate it. I think you're a newcomer. Thank you for being here. But she helps me do that. So a huge thank you to Janie for all your help and all your love and all your support and your wonderful story and everything that you do. So thank you. I know the lasagna is so good. If you don't know, once a month in our Kitchenatomy class, we do a cook along. So if you're wondering what people are referring to, oh yeah, it's so good. It's so good. The art of happiness. It will change your life. I'm telling you. He doesn't even talk about Buddhism or just a little bit, like principles, but it will change your life. Robin's read it now. My friends have read it, and it is life-changing. It is a life-changing book. It's amazing, that book, The Art of Happiness. So yes. So thank you, Janie, so much for helping me and always being there for me. So yes. It's amazing what you do out of just pure love. So thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Yeah, make it. So yes, but we do, I had mine on warm by accident. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Yes, that is a great book as well. It's on my list. I just haven't gotten to it. I've been reading a lot of nutritional information lately. I've been reading a ton of studies. I go to bed at night with like a thick packet that I've printed out because we have a rule of no electronics in our bedroom, so we're not allowed no iPads, no iPhones, there's no TV, no computers, no nothing. It's a rule that we have, so it's not even allowed in there, not even during the day. There are no electronics in the bedroom. And so so if I'm going to read something that I found on the internet, it's not even about the blue light, it's about being present. It's about being present with my husband in bed and actually like being there with him, even if we're reading. It's about, yeah. So anyway, but when I have something that I found on the internet that I want to read, I have to print it out. I'm like, this no electronics rule is costing us some money in ink and paper. Because I print out these like giant studies and I'm like reading them in bed before I go to sleep. So yeah, they'll put you to sleep really easy. If you want to go to bed easily, if you're having trouble sleeping, print out some medical studies or some wellness or some scientific studies. I promise you'll go to bed easily. Robin's like, why don't you just print out like the first 6 pages? Because you're going to get through like 3 pages. Don't print out the whole study because you're not going to get through it anyway. Oh God, PubMed, yes. I read all kinds of stuff from all kinds of sources, but yes, PubMed is amazing for that. So, although yes, you're welcome to ask me a question. Yep. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. You're a sweetheart. I know. David, I'm like, can you please put this in layman's? They need like PubMed for dummies. Sometimes I'm reading this and I'm like, what? I'll read it to Robin. I'm like, what does that mean? Because he's like super smart. He's like crazy. He can usually decipher things very well. And he's like crazy smart. And I'm like, I read it out to him. And he's like, I have no idea what that means. I'm like, I know. What does that mean? I need the Cliff Notes. Yes. Not necessarily. So are we talking about olive oil? So if it's sediment on the bottom, no, that actually can indicate that you have a nice unrefined bottle of oil. My problem would be is if the oil is cloudy all the way through. So if you have a bottle like this and you can't see through the other side of it, then you probably have a rancid bottle of olive oil. We're just talking about olive oil specifically here. But if you have sediment, thank you for clearing that up. If you have sediment in the bottom of your bottle and you shake it, but you can still see through, right? And there should be no like lumpy dumpies in there. So there should be like no big globs of anything in there. At that point, it's gone rancid. So, and the smell, you can smell when olive oil is bad. Fresh olive oil, right? And a little bit of a taste as well, right? You can tell when it has gone rancid. Unfiltered still should be pretty clear if it's been sitting for a while. Yeah, it should still be pretty clear. It doesn't have to be crystal clear, but you should be able to see through it mostly. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I know about green as well. Trust me. You guys have to trust me when I say, I mean, I used to make a joke and I stopped doing it because Robin said it was kind of insulting, but I used to make a joke that I read all the big books so you don't have to. I have medical journals upon medical journals. I could probably do surgery. I've taken anatomy classes. I've taken physiology classes. I have, yeah. Only when it's superheated. Its smoke point is about 400 degrees. So anything under, I say around 375, keeping it under 375, and you're going to be fine. Now that is only for extra virgin olive oil. We're talking about olive oil that is not extra virgin. Yes, extra virgin olive oil, super high quality, not the stuff that you can get for $6 for the gallon. That is not really olive oil anyway. So yes. Thank you guys. It's a passion. You know, I do it because I love it and I'm so passionate about helping people change their way of life. So I didn't. Facebook wouldn't let me broadcast today. So stupid. I'll just have to share it over there. Stupid Facebook. Anyway, but I really, when I say I want people to have a light bulb moment in their health before they get cancer, before they get disease, it is my passion. So yeah.
We'll be needing light bulbs pretty soon.
I know.
As it gets dark here tonight.
As I'm still on Periscope. Yeah. Stupid Facebook. I know. I was kind of negative. Sorry. it aggravated me when I couldn't start up Periscope. I was like, what's wrong here? Yeah. It is a myth. We're going to talk about that tomorrow, actually. If you want to join me tomorrow at noon Mountain Time, I will be talking all about the cholesterol myth and the saturated fat myth that is surrounding. It is actually, it's not really even a myth. It is a myth, but it's actually just old research. It's just old research that people have, that certain industries have gotten a hold of, like the margarine industry and the trans fat industry that's gotten a hold of it and said, oh no, our fat is way better than that. So yes, so you have to have cholesterol. Absolutely. It is 100%. Yes, it's just almost misinformation. It's just old, like you think about an iPhone original and an iPhone 6, that it's just old technology essentially. Yeah. And people have pulled up that old technology and said, oh no, this is good for you, or blah blah blah. So yeah. All right, you guys, I have gotten the cutoff signal from Robin. Actually, I think he has a question and I need to help him with it. So I'm going to scat out. I love you guys so much. Please join me every weekday at noon Mountain Time. I'm going to be a little bit late on Thursday, however. Hey, Rosemary, it's good to see you. If you are just joining us, please go check out replay. We did a lot of work right at the beginning of this Periscope, and then we got into answering questions. And we've been on here for an hour and 28 minutes. Cooking in ghee would be more healthy. Cooking in butter, not so much. Cooking in ghee would be more healthy than olive oil. So yes, please go check out replay. Thank you guys for jumping in here at the last minute. Love you so much. You know that I adore you. And I will be back here tomorrow, and we're gonna nail down some controversy. I'm gonna be controversial again tomorrow. What? All right. Love you guys. Have a great afternoon. Until tomorrow.